Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to the 5-Question Podcast with your host, me, Lana. So the first episode, I think everyone who listened to it was a fear that I had to face. So I'm glad that everybody listened, and if you enjoyed it, we're back with better audio. I had to figure some things out, y'all. Got better audio, got better visuals, okay? It's time to elevate with each episode. Even though I told y'all that I'm just doing this for me, and that's still true. I'm doing it for me. I'm not trying to get all produced, because if I do that, I'll get in my head too much, and it just won't happen, okay? So today's episode is about confidence, and I have with me someone you may know, you may not know, but you're about to know. Chuck Marcus, who is a photographer, creative director, and new owner of creative agency PS92 Studios, which is launching early 2024. Welcome.
Yes, it is.
It's also my man, but most of y'all already know that. But so how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great.
That's good. I'm glad you're doing well.
So happy to have you here.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited for this.
I am too. I think a lot of people will love this episode.
We hope to see that. We hope that your listenership will enjoy this.
I think so. I didn't think there was anyone better to interview on confidence than you.
Okay, let's figure it out.
Big Harlem. Look at the hat. You see the hat?
Yeah, New York forever.
See?
Everywhere we go, New York forever.
Yeah, we know. So for every episode, we start with an affirmation. You know, I'm an affirmation lady. So today's affirmation, in the name of being confidence and learning confidence, is: I have everything I need to succeed. There is only one me. I am only in competition with the better version of myself. One more time. I have everything I need to succeed. There is only one me. I am only in competition with the better version of myself.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And I really do love that. I think that, and when I was an avid runner, like, that was one of my things, is like, you only got to beat yourself. So, like, to hear that as affirmation, like, yeah, that's really good. I like that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. I like the right affirmations. So confidence, the reason I want to talk about this is because it's everything, right? Like, and it's something that I have struggled with, I do struggle with in so many aspects of my life. So when I run into people who seem to be just like innately and genuinely confident, even if it's like a fake it till you make it thing, whatever, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just attractive. Like, everybody's attracted to confidence. So I wanted to talk to you about what makes you confident, what's the story behind that, were you always confident, et cetera, et cetera. So our first of our 5 questions, today's first question is: how would you describe confidence? What does it mean to be confident?
Well, before I answer your question, I think that it's amazing that you think that I have a lot of confidence, right? Very appreciative of that. But to answer your question, what does it mean to have confidence? I think that is just it's just knowing self at the end of the day, right? I'm a big fan of knowledge of self and understanding who you are. So as long as you know who you are, like, you can come in anything prepared, and be prepared as much as you can be.
Break that down, knowledge of self. Tell me where that came from, brother.
I mean, it's just a philosophy, right? Knowledge of self, in my opinion, from my perspective, is just like understanding the things that you need to excel in life and those tools that you have. So, like, I guess an example is, like, I think that I'm one of the greatest photographers because I've gained enough knowledge of information about the art form, but I'm also very, very confident in my ability to excel in it because I believe that I'm good, So I think that's, like, a basic definition.
So that's the first start, is like, you gotta believe it.
Yeah, you gotta believe it. You gotta, it's kind of like you always tell me, you gotta have that, like, blind belief that, like, no matter what you say, it's, like, going to happen. And I think that I have that on. It's like, I really believe the things that I say. So it's like, and 90% of the times the things that I say, they come to fruition because I really believed it, right? The other step of that is just doing the actual work to get to it. But, you got to believe it. You got to believe it 110%.
You have something else going because you're Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, y'all know I'm a Zodiac
Here
mommy.
we go.
Zodiac mommy represents faith and optimism. So if it's easy for anybody to be optimistic, it's going to be a Sagittarius. Like, the world be falling apart. And the Sag is going to be like, y'all want to go? Let's go outside. And it's like, bro, we're dying.
Are we?
But see? Exactly.
I mean,
but I love that. That's why I love Sagittarius so much because, I mean, sometimes we gotta get a grip and we gotta prioritize things. But y'all do have that like sheer, just like, let's have a good time and everything's gonna work out. And I mean, it starts with the belief, like you said. If you believe that, it will.
I mean, everything does work out.
It's true.
I think that things that don't work out for people, you did something in that mechanism to stop it, right?
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a belief. I think it's a doubt that you have. I think it's an action that you may come across. Like, you're doing something to change the altering of that thing not working out. So yeah, no, I really believe that, right? Dang, I'm trying to figure out something that's not personal, right? I don't want to tell what happens with us a lot.
Don't tell our business.
For example, right? If an individual feels like, I really want this job, I'm really good at this, but they already don't believe that they're qualified and capable of the thing, it's already stopping them from getting the opportunity, right? And also, too, I believe, too, people can smell, like, not people, me personally, I can tell when a person is not confident. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's like, all right.
You know what? From a photography perspective, talk about that. Like, have you photographed people? I know a lot of times you're working with brands or models, but when you're not, or even if you are, how does that affect your process? I mean, you're really good at making people feel comfortable, but like, how does that affect your process if you can tell that people may not be confident?
Oh, I mean, you cannot. For me personally, I can identify that early. And then my mechanism in that aspect is like, okay, we need to find a commonality that makes you feel comfortable, right? So for me, conversation is the best way to start that, right? So before I even put my camera to your face as I'm setting up, I'm talking to you. Hey, what's up? What you had today? What you eat? What you did last night? You know what I'm saying? Or I'm big into fashion, so it's kind of like, oh, I like those. Where'd you get that from? Why'd you choose this color today? Why you chose this hat to wear today? What was tell me the story behind that? And then from there, I think most of the time that wears the guard down of the person realizing like, oh, this person's about to take a photo of me. This person's about to put a camera in my face, right? Because. And I feel like that's just the 10% of the battle. Really, that's the 90% of the battle. The 10%, you already believe in my work. You already believe that I'm capable of doing the thing that I'm going to do. The 90% is like, all right, can I be as comfortable and free and raw with you? And most people who see my work, they always say, oh, you captured that person's soul. You captured that moment, and really for me, it's like, I'm trying my best to connect with the subject as much as possible. If we're in an intimate space, if it's a public space and photo, I'm really just looking for the thing that makes me want to be jarred at.
It's maybe like what I'm hearing when you're saying that is like their essence. So when you talk to people, you make them comfortable, you get more of their essence and their spirit. So they're bringing it to the front, and now you're able to click, and get it.
Click. Yeah. I tell people all the time, I just press the button. It's most of you guys.
Okay, so the second question is, where do you think your confidence comes from, and was it something you've always had?
I think my confidence comes from a bunch of things. To answer your question, no, I don't think I always had it. I think it's something that developed over time. I think my confidence comes from my family background, right? So I come from a very strong personality family, very intentional, very like, I need you to see me, hear me, But I think on the opposite side of the development of confidence for me was, I used to be a dancer, right? So like,
tell us more.
What do you want to know?
Oh, what kind of dance did you do?
I grew up dancing in all genres of dance, so like jazz, tap, modern, et cetera, et cetera. But I say that to say, like, during those times younger, growing up, those performances, I was very nervous, right? Before I get on the stage, which is normal. But then there's something about adrenaline. There's something about the energy of the people around you. You already kind of know what you're about to do. That builds your confidence more. And the more you do that, the more you get comfortable with it. So I think at this age today in my life, I don't dance anymore, but I'm applying those same formats and things to the skill set that I do today.
Yeah. So when you didn't have it, would you say like dance is what gave you confidence in general? Or was there other things? You said it was a number of different things. Like what other things kind of...
Well, I mean, I think it's a number of things, right? I wrote poetry at one point in my life, right? So I think the performance aspect of it is what really built the confidence. Like, because, I mean, today I'm still performing. It's just that I'm doing it from a medium of photography, right? And it's a still image. It's something that is meaningful and impactful, but there's no like... The gratification in that is not instant. if that makes sense. Well, it is instant. No, it's instant gratification, but it's not as instant as if I was to say some words, you react to it. If I was to do a dance move, you react to that thing, right? It's not as instant as that, but it's still instant in the aspect of like when you see the photo, you have a reaction to it.
So then in that, like, it sounds like you get your confidence from the reaction, the crowd. So in moments where you don't have a crowd, like, where do you pull it from?
Memories. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just want to go back to that feeling, that moment, right? So it's like, all right, you know my favorite line, I've been here before, right? Everything for me is like, oh, I've been here before. So I kind of know what this feels like, how to experience this, how to navigate this thing. So it's kind of like, that's what I use for me most of the time is memories. If it's something I don't know what to do, you know? And then a lot of it too is repetition, right? Like the more you do it, the more you get confident about it, the more you feel comfortable with it. So
I was gonna say, okay, good. This is question number 3. Okay, and to that point of like, tell me, you talked about how confidence came about, but like you're having a bad day, okay? You're not feeling the best about yourself. Is there somebody you call? Is there something you listen to? Like, what is that thing you do so we can give the people some tools of like that helps you kind of snap back into it?
I mean, I think that's a very great question. I really don't know the things that I do. I do know that yes, if I'm having a bad day, I'm calling people, right? That can be siblings, friends, you know, that of nature. Music is one of my favorite things to do. So maybe I may be listening to some type of gospel music to bring my spirits up. But I do know that whatever the environment that I'm entering, the individual won't know that I'm feeling down. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're not like nobody else would know. Only you know.
Yeah, it's only something I would know.
That's good because you call people a lot to talk to people. That's just one of the things that I think people love about you is that you're always going to check in with them to see how they're doing. But I guess it does something for you too. Yeah,
it does. It makes me feel good. It makes me keep that line of communication open. It keeps me honest in the thing that I believe in. So yeah.
I think too, like I talked to you about my idea that I want to do for like a Christmas gift for people, but one, remember what God says about you, and then 2, remembering what people that love you and admire you say about you. Like, I know you don't want to get too caught up in ego, but like people that love you ever give you a compliment, you're like, wow, like thank you. Remembering those things, even writing them down. Like for people like myself who's working on making our confidence better, that's something that I want to kind of practice. Like somebody sends you a nice text, uplifting, save those things so you can kind of like go back to it and look at it like, yeah. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And not to be like, I think you just to the point of like not weighing criticism or praise too heavily, but just something to remind you, because it's easy to go in my brain and just rattle off all the things I'm not good at, all the things I'm not, and we're constantly playing that tape on repeat. But like to give yourself another tape to play, in a sense. Yeah.
No, I think your last episode, from me listening for episode 1, that's something you spoke about with the other guest that you had.
And Diamond, shout out to Diamond.
Yeah, shout out to Diamond. I love you, Diamond.
We love you.
But no, I think that like she said that she naturally would tell herself things, and you said, oh, I kind of relate to that, right? And I think a lot of it, that's good that you know for yourself that, hey, look, someone's giving me encouragement. Let me share this thing and revisit it. You know, and I think that for me, everything is a feeling for me. So it's like, it's feeling and reliving moments in my own personal imagination, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, I'm a visual individual, so that helps me and allows me to remember things. So for instance, if I remember on Tuesday of last week, you say, you know what, I like the outfit you wore, I'm gonna try my best to visually memorize that, and that naturally is going to make me feel better and more confident in whatever the thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, remember the good things, because it's so easy to remember the not so good things.
Yeah,
so that's good. Okay. So question 4, just about being confident as a black man in general. Like in this country, at one point, to be a confident black person was illegal, literally. You know what I mean? And oh, you boastful, you think you're better, you think you're good. And I think our culture, we're unlearning a lot, but we still have that aspect of like, you know, why you doing all of that? Why are you so loud? Or like, because we have that, you know, systemic. That's definitely another episode. But why we have been programmed to feel like, oh no, be small. So can you talk about? I want to say this because you're somebody who, if we're in public and there's white people around, and you say white people, he's going to tell you not to whisper white. Like, don't whisper white. And can we talk about that in terms of actually like race and things like that? Like, what gives you that confidence?
Yeah, well, one, I think that we shouldn't whisper white. Like, I just don't believe in that. But I think what gave me that confidence is the information as a kid. I grew up in this museum in New York City called the Schomburg Center, and I went there every Saturday from like the age of like 11 till I was like 17 years old, and all they did was teach me Black history. And they taught me about the Black Panther movement. They taught me about the Great Migration. They taught me anything you could think of Black history in that aspect. And learning those things in the development ages from, like I said, 11 to 17, it gave me a sense of pride about myself as a Black person. Mm-hmm. So, like, I wanted to show up that way in public. And because of that, it also taught me, like, you shouldn't do these things because of this, because there's someone prior to me as an ancestor who probably died because they couldn't do this thing. So now that we have the ability to do it, no, I'm not going to do this, right? I'm not going to sit in the back of the bus. I'm not going to whisper the word white. I'm not going to cower against white people. But there's a fine line in that in today's society where you have to be able to still show up that way, but also be mindful of how what the reactions can be to that, right?
Yeah, we live in Georgia.
Yeah, it's
different to do that in New York.
Yeah, it's different to do that in New York. Here, living now in a red state, in a state of Georgia, I have to catch myself sometimes because I'll be willing to be like, so what? But then I have to remember, wait, calm down. Mm-hmm. We're in a place where, you know, the individuals here just have different things, and there's a temperature check. But I still think that, like, there's a way for me to do that in a polite way, and also in a way to let you know that I'm not fearful of you, but I understand where I'm at, you know, in that aspect.
Yeah, I definitely, we talked about like self-awareness too, like, you know, do it, but you make sure you stand in it. Like everybody's saying now, stand on business, but like, yes, stand on business, be self-aware. Yeah,
and like you have, that goes back to that belief system. Like I really believe that Black people shouldn't be scared of white people. Mm-hmm. I really believe that Black people shouldn't have to be fearful. I feel that Black men shouldn't have to be fearful of the cops, but unfortunately, we live in a society now where, like, here's an example. Me and Lana, we were just driving home one day, not realizing my left headlight was out. We got pulled over. Instantly, my gut, everything in me fell down. A Black cop, he just came to the window, two of them. And I was nervous. I was nervous on my mind. But there was something about seeing a Black cop made me relax. But still remember, he is a cop in the South. But relax and just answer his questions by projecting, speaking clearly, you know, and not being alarming.
And that's confidence. Yeah. Even that is confidence. You know what I mean? Like, you were afraid, but you fought through it. You channeled, like, okay. And seeing, like you said, seeing him being Black, of course, that helped. But, like, that's still confidence of, like, I have to make sure that I'm not afraid, and we can talk about that too. Like, it's a little bit of pretending that goes into it, right? It's a little bit of faking until you make it, because it's that persona, like thing you talked about. Like we just gotta put on sometimes, and put on to get on. Or JP, shout out to JP. The opposite to get on to put on is put on to get on, because it's like, I have to act like that, because if they see you nervous too, he could be like, "Why are you nervous?" And that, which sucks, because it's like, y'all killing us. That's why. Yeah, I'm nervous because you're a cop. Yeah, and I'm Black. And it's dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could definitely, in some instances, count against you, because now they're like, well, why you know what I mean? It sucks that we all have to be like this. But that was a great example, because even in that instance, you do have to be confident in a country that does not make you confident in getting pulled over. At all, right? But we have divine protection over here. Let me just say that. Oh, no, we're fine, guys. Everything is fine over here. But even speaking again in this realm of confidence, like, another piece of it, like, yes, it's innate. You were taught this, but how much of it is being prepared? Because for me, what helps to give me confidence when I don't feel is be prepared. I might not be the most confident person, but I'm the most prepared. So I've looked at that brief for that client a million times. I prepare for this call a million times. I know my script when I'm getting on any stage. Like, I know it so much that will help me have confidence, because you can't negate that part of it, because you can fake it, but so far. But I don't think, I agree with you. You can fake it, but so far. But when I say that, like you said, I was taught this, and even in that teaching, they're still preparing me for it, right? But they're still,
Like, I'm learning the information. I'm knowing, okay, like, The Hate You Give is one of my favorite movies because it teaches you how to be a black person in the system of America today, right? It's a black father who grew up on the teachings of the 5% Nation, and I think Muslim, and I think Islam too.
I think so.
I think no, I'm sorry. Teachings of the 5% Nation and the Black Panther Party. Okay. That's what he grew up on. He instilled this information into his kids as if, I don't know, he's teaching them to read A, B, C, D. So by the time when it was time to experience those things in the movie, when she got pulled over by a cop and her friend, she's like, yo, relax, put your hands on the thing. This is something that she's done religiously with her dad as just a talking point in their house. Yeah. So now she's able to apply it. So like
that will give you confidence.
That would give you the confidence because it's like, I've been doing this. That's what the repetition comes in that we spoke about earlier. It's just like it's repetition. It's just doing something over and over, and then after a while it becomes normal, right? Like I said, from 12 to 17, every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., I'm learning information about the history of black people in this country and the great things, the terrible things, the things that were very high and super empowering, and then how some of those people who got to the top got pushed down. Yeah. Some of those people died, but just a lot of information.
Even too, like we know people, or think about like a salesman. He's so confident. He's telling you this car is never gonna die, and it's like you get off the lot and the car might die. But he was so confident, like it really, like people will believe if you believe it.
Yeah, and confidence too. And another thing that we're not speaking about here, like confidence is how you make a person feel.
Yeah.
Too, right? So like there's a sense of like. There's a sense of making someone feel good, and they can be confident in you now. Because now it's like, oh wow,
okay, yeah.
you disarm me. That's what that salesman is doing.
Yeah,
essentially, like, he's selling you some dreams, but somewhere in those dreams that he's selling you, it gave you comfort. So now you really trust in him, right? And he can fuck you over, or he can make you a great offer. It's just there's something of disarming an individual with that. And building confidence too.
And then as a follow-up to that, imagine if you had a little baby girl, a little daughter who was struggling with her confidence. What would you tell her? Keeping in mind that the world of social media is probably only going to get more complex as we get older and future children get older. So in the world of AI and all that kind of stuff, you have a daughter, she's struggling with her confidence. What do you tell her?
What's wrong with you?
See, New York.
What you want me to say? Like, what's wrong with you? Why you act like that? Now, all jokes aside, I think that, like, I'm really big on core values. So I think that, like, if I have a kid that's struggling with confidence because of social media and all those things, you really wasn't listening to the information I was giving you prior to that in the home, right? I think, but to answer that question and help them solve this thing, I would explain to them, hey, most of the things that you're seeing on this thing is not real. Right, so stay rooted and grounded in those things. Find the people around you that you feel that you trust, and start from there. Right, and then as you start from there, you build on it. I think that answers your question.
Yeah, I think so. And you said like they had never been listening. Like if they're feeling that way, that means they probably weren't listening. So what are those things that you would instill in them that they need to listen to when it comes to? Because it's like you have a baby, and then like they watch you, right? So a lot of it they're gonna get from watching the parents, but. Yeah, what are some things that you would say? Because I would say I don't know that my parents were great. They are great. But I don't know that they taught confidence. I don't know that it's something that like I saw. I think if anything, I saw it from my sister because she was just kind of unapologetic. But it was a permission in there too. And I was a kid that needed permission for everything. She was not. So if you're a kid like me that needed permission to do anything, to even think, you're waiting for somebody to kind of say, hey. And sometimes it's like I have people in my life like, randomly aunts and cousins that would be like, hey, you're beautiful. And it would always shock me. Like even now today, I'm always like, when somebody says, oh, you're beautiful, I'm like, oh,
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do because it still feels foreign to me and goes back to like the belief thing that you talked about. Like it's still something I'm working on truly believing. And so until I get there, it's probably always going to feel like, oh, she just said that because my shoes are nicer. She just said that because my hair is falling.
But sometimes it's that simple. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be that complex. That person may just like, you know what? I like the way you look today, so you're beautiful. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that it has to go deeper than that.
That's true.
I think the thing that I believe my parents gave me is that no matter the loss or the win that I got, my mom always say, hey, you did a great job. Hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, yo, keep going. Mm-hmm. Yo, you could do this. Yo, I believe that you can do this.
So, yeah, in that aspect, they gave me confidence for books and smart. And I realized, like, I was chubby and funny looking and a goody two-shoes. So it was like, oh, I'm not going to be the pretty girl. So I'm going to be the smart girl. So when it came to, like, look at Lana. She got on a roll. She got this, like, that confidence. You can't see me in spelling anything, okay?
Yeah, and I suck at spelling.
I'm gonna spell it. I'm gonna tell you, said that word wrong, big Virgo, okay? But when it came to like the physical appearance of it, it was just like, okay, like, I'm alright. I'm cute, maybe on a good day, you know. And now, I mean, obviously now I'm able to look at myself. I'm like, oh, you're beautiful. It's not every day though, and it's not every day I feel like that inside or out.
But we not beautiful every day.
No, I mean, but I think at our core, the belief is that yes, you are, and it's not just about. Well, outside,
you're right, and when I say you're not beautiful today, I'm more so speaking from an appearance aspect,
yeah.
Right? Like, but you're right. I think, Dan, this is a very interesting question, and it's very good. I think, jokingly, I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna laugh when I say this, but my dad is like, real. Every night your friend, right? So it's like,
wait, give context. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think they need to know. I think that is just something that you understand. Okay. But really what he's saying in that thing is just like, you shouldn't trust everyone. So like, you should be more skeptical about it. Mm-hmm. And you being in that skepticalness, you should be able to build confidence in that, because now the confidence is you trusting yourself in the judgment that you're making about the individual.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like it's a slow step of things, right? So it's like, well, I trust myself to know that I believe that this person has my best interests. And then as you build more with that person, I really believe this person has my best interests.
I think too, a friend of mine years ago, we just talked about this recently on Instagram, but anyway, she said that her dad always gave her this advice of like, whatever somebody says to you, never let it make you feel too good or too bad. So feel 50% about it all. Like if somebody gives you a compliment, feel 50% good about that. Good. And then if somebody gives you, I'm probably saying it wrong, but I like to, because it kind of helps you weigh things and realize that like it really matters what you think about yourself. And yeah, yes, everybody wants to get praised. Everybody wants to feel good. When you get negative criticism, you're always going to really hone down on that and feel like that's the thing. But I like that because it makes you weigh everything balanced. Like, that was a great compliment. Thank you. That wasn't such great feedback. Thank you. But it's still here. Because when you allow it to change how you feel, go up or down, then you're always going to be up or down.
Yeah, but I think to get to that, I think that's a new level unlocked. I don't think that's like the first level.
No, of course not.
Right? I think that's I don't know, we can say level 15, 10, whatever the number is. But it's that level you unlock that. Right, but that comes with discernment.
Yeah.
That comes with like being able to be decisive. Right, it comes with all of those things. So now when you get to that, it's like, thank you, whatever. Thank you.
Yeah, but as a kid, that's the first thing we hear. It's like when a kid's learning to walk, it's like yes, like you're praising them, so they're like, oh, if I do this thing, I get praised. That feels good. You know what I mean? So, and some people, are more motivated by the negative feedback or negative.
Yeah, some people need negativity to make them stand on their square and get their shit together. Some people hear negativity and it crumbles them. Mm-hmm. Right? It just depends. I'm going back to what you said about your sister. I'm the rebel kid. I'm the problem child. Well, let me choose my words, because I ain't no problem. But I mean, I made things a little bit difficult. Right? And I made a lot of things in my life difficult because of those things. Mm-hmm. Right? But I also believe that every experience have shaped me to be this person, have shaped me to have this experience. Since we're talking about confidence, I show up in the room this way. I show up this way, right? Like you always, you love and you dislike that I come in places and I really don't favor about what that other person's feeling, because at the end of the day, it's really about myself, and that's where confidence comes in. It's like, I'm not really worried about how that may affect you, because it's really like people always say, you got to be the star of your own movie, right? That's something we've been seeing on social media a lot these last few weeks. Main character energy. But that's a real thing, and most of us do it by accident.
I think it's a delicate balance, because you're talking about knowledge of self, in knowledge of self, you do have to have self-awareness. because you can be individualized and think about, I'm just worried about myself, but even in the main character, there's other characters around them that make that movie flourish, right? So you can't completely ignore the impact that you have on another person, because I think that's what legacy truly is, but that's another episode. I think legacy is not so much about your kids and what you leave to them, it's more about, like, what impact did I make on everybody that I met? But anyway, I'm saying that to say, like, I think you do have to have some awareness about how did the energy change for good or for worse when I came in the room, and why. And that will even boost your confidence too, because we all have the ability to move a room and to change a room. So if you're completely like, we know people like that. You know people who like, wow, this person is here, party of one. Like, they don't know what's going on around them, and it shows. So I think you do have to have a little bit of awareness of that to function. No,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you in that aspect. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're wrapping up here. I think, I didn't have anything else about confidence. We were kind of having that beauty conversation. That I was getting ready to go deep dive into that, because I feel like for me, like, it wasn't something that I ever felt. Like, I never felt like outer appearance, in terms of outer appearance, like, I just kind of accepted very early on. Like, that's not your thing. Your thing is not the cute.
But somebody told you that, right? Like,
I think it was a combination of like what we saw that told me that. I don't think somebody would. Well, of course, kids.
Someone told you that. Like, I always make the joke now. Like, right now, we're gonna be vulnerable here, guys. Bear with me. This is probably the biggest I've ever been in my life, right? Mm-hmm. But growing up, my little brother is a slinky. He's the skinniest person ever. He's told me my entire life, yo, you fat. Yo, you fat. And for a while, I was like, yo, I'm really not fat. You just really skinny. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And once I realized, like, oh yeah, I'm not fat. You just really slim. That changed my whole perspective of how I felt about myself in that aspect, right? And I think that happened real early in my life, right? That probably happened like, we call it junior high school, I don't know what y'all, but 7th and 8th grade, right? Mm-hmm. And then from there, life changes now, because now I feel way better about myself. I don't think that I'm fat. Today, I'm fat, right? You know, I can look at myself and be like, wow, you really are fat today. You know what I'm saying? But I'm okay with
this is not fat phobia or anything. We're just talking about how he feels about himself.
Yeah, how I feel about myself. Part of me, if it's just a trigger warning for anyone. But I'm more so just saying that to say, like, that's even how I look today is not where I want it to be for me personally, but there's still my confidence is like, it don't matter how I look, because it's still gonna be fine. It doesn't matter. Right?
That's what's admirable, because he'll be like, I don't like, and that's confidence. That's deep down confidence when you're like, I don't love the way I look right now. Me too. I'm the biggest I've ever been in terms of weight right now, and it's like, I'm not happy with this, but to still be able to be like, man, I look good. Because I'm me, you know what I mean? Like, that's you all day.
It's very true.
Because I'm me, I still look good. I'm not. We all have areas of opportunity and room for improvement, but it's like, I'm still me inside of however many pounds it is.
Yeah, because the only thing that changes is my outer appearance. Everything else is still the same. So, like, I hope this won't happen, but I could become 400 pounds. I'm still gonna feel like me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? My outer exterior is gonna look totally different. It may even alter the way I probably present myself to the public, but the end of I'm still myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it really doesn't matter that aspect of it. But I say that to say from the beauty conversation you're speaking of, like, I use that example because, like, from maybe 2nd grade to 7th grade, my little brother called me fat every day. You know what I'm saying? But
you're watching this. Or listening to this.
Right? But I learned quickly, too. It's just like, I'm only fat from his perspective. Yeah. Right? It's not really.
And that's the other piece we didn't really talk about too much with, like, you could be the most confident person ever and think you're the best baker this side of the Mississippi. And somebody could come in and say, I've had better. And then all of a sudden, now you're like, oh my God, your confidence is deflated, depending on if that confidence truly comes from within. Because it's really just other people's opinions.
Yeah. We live in a world full of other people's opinions. Either you're going to believe the thing that they say about you, or you're going to have the blind belief that whatever you're doing is the thing that needs to get done and be completed, and you believe in it. But that goes back to how we started this entire podcast episode, right? Like, as long as you believe it, It really doesn't matter.
No, it's true. It really is an inside job. Confidence, happiness, all of that is an inside job. You really do have to believe it. And it's almost like if in the social media lingo now, delulu. You gotta be a little delusional. Like faith, technically the concept of faith is a little bit delusional. Like, I don't see this thing. I have no proof to it, but I'm just gonna believe it.
Well, that's not true. But we'll talk about that another day.
I'm talking about faith. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about faith.
I'm not talking about religion.
Like,
I think that faith, I don't think faith is delusional. I think that faith is an idea. You put work to it and it happens.
Yeah, I'm talking specifically about the concept of faith. So, like, I don't know. You have no proof. You have no way of knowing, like, I'm going to be the most successful photographer, right? You don't have a way other than that, the innate belief. Like, there's no, when I say proof, I mean, I'm talking about science. Like, there's nothing that said, oh, you do this and this and it equals 3.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, no, I know that. That's an inner thing. That's it. Someone could say that's delusional because there's no concrete proof of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So thank you so much for talking to us about confidence. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, New York Forever. That's it. No, I'm just messing with you. Thank you for having me. I think this was great. I think this even gave me more outlet and information on like how I like perceive confidence and like what more areas of my life I need to be more confident in and how to approach those things.
Tell me about that.
No, thank you.
Oh man, he's going to want to talk to us. He's going to work on it. We'll do a part 2 maybe later. I can't wait to hear the areas that you gained confidence in.
Yeah.
Shut me down. So we start with the affirmation, as you know, and we end with the confirmation. Okay. So I'm going to have you finish my sentence here. Okay, you ready?
Let's see if we're capable.
I think you are so capable because you're so confident.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. All right. What I know about myself is
I control everything.
You control everything. Let's say it all in one sentence then. What I know about myself.
Oh, got you.
All right, we'll start that part over. Okay. So every episode we start with the affirmation and we end with the confirmation. So you're gonna finish my sentence, okay? What I know about myself is.
What I know about myself is that I control everything.
I control. What does that mean?
I'm in control. Like, in control meaning like as long as the idea exists and I put the effort and the foot forward to achieve it, it will happen. It may not happen as fast as I want it to. It may not happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, that's faith.
Yeah.
That's faith. And that's confidence.
Big confidence.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode 2 of the 5 Question Podcast with me, Lana Dot, and your boy,
Chuck Marcus.
Chuck Marcus, thank you so much. I think that's it for us for today.
All right. It was great.
Listen to the podcast, guys. Stream, and share. And yeah, we're out.
Yeah.